Hello, and welcome to another video today featuring Brokk, the AI development IDE. So today we're going to be building a version of Solitaire using the Python language, and we're going to make it playable using command prompt or PowerShell, whatever you prefer to call it, or whatever variant you prefer to use. Now, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and I have asked Brokk to create a playable version of Solitaire using the Python language. And that'll be today our second demonstration, Brokk's abilities with Python. Within this capture window here that I will open up now, it outlines that I asked it to create Solitaire using the Python language and make it playable using PowerShell or CMD. It's going to outline the Klondike variant of Solitaire, and then it'll do the conceptual design for Solitaire in CLI right here. You'll see the conceptual design of it there. It is making a pretty much perfect clone of the Klondike variant of Solitaire that is playable from command line interface. And now it's going to go through potential improvements here. We are going to use this Colorama improvement. We are going to add scoring for competitive play. We do want an undo feature, and we do want to add support for drawing 3 cards from the stock at a time. And we are going to hit the ask command button again. We are going to ask it. Now, once it's done generating, we are going to read through this. Okay, now that it is done generating, it's going to provide a detailed explanation and analysis of the potential improvements mentioned in Section 7 of the conceptual design for the Solitaire game. So, as you can see here, I didn't have to copy and paste anything from that previous ask. It has the history of our conversation since I captured it and added it to the workspace. So it's going to break down each recommended improvement, explain its significance, and discuss how it conceptually fit into the game architecture. So, gameplay authenticity. Drawing 3 cards is a standard rule in many Solitaire implementations, making the game feel more familiar to experienced players. This is the undo feature for the moves. It's going to explain us how that works. It makes it so that you could undo your previous move in the event that a player makes a mistake and they would like to revert that last move. So it helps players learn the game by testing different strategies without restarting. That's another great point. So it's telling us the state history. The game state class would need to maintain a history of moves or snapshots of the game state, which is a good point, because if you're going to want to undo moves, it is going to need a copy of the game state to know what you're undoing back to. So it's going to add scoring or timing for competitive play. Adding a performance aspect makes the game more engaging beyond just winning. So this is the Colorama library I was telling us about. Now, before I was telling you how there was not going to be any libraries implemented. However, it suggested that having colors to display what each card is, in terms of color, would be helpful. And I quite agree with this, especially for new players. This is just its concluding statement here, going over everything it's just talked about and how it's going to do it, and it's just telling me if I'd like deeper insight into any specific feature to prioritize guidance, etc., it's happy to assist. Okay, we are going to actually want it to do this. So in the ask panel again, okay, now that it has taken in my input, it has spit out what it thinks here. So the first thing I want to go over is this here, toggling features like 3-card draw. So it's giving us 2 options here. We can either do it via an in-game settings, in which you could type in a command settings or config during play to toggle the draw mode on the fly. And I've also told it to keep color display always on, using the Colorama library it was telling us about. Command line arguments for 3-card draw. The implementation concept, use Python's argparse module to handle command line inputs. Flag like draw mode with values 1 or 3 could be defined to set the draw behavior at startup. This would be stored in game states class or configuration object to dictate how many cards are drawn from the stock. Clear instructions or help text via help command or startup message will be critical for toggling features like draw mode. We are going to absolutely do a help command. So, from what it said here, we are going to want to do this, and we are going to click that ask button again after we capture this current data, and we are going to ask it. So it's happy to provide a thorough analysis and conceptual understanding of displaying help text in the command line interface CLI for the Solitaire game, with a focus on formatting for readability and leveraging the always-on color display using Colorama for emphasis as requested. Displaying help text in the CLI involves presenting information about game commands, rules, configuration options in a clear and accessible manner directly within the terminal environment, PowerShell or CMD. So we have now pretty much gotten to the point now where we are going to want to tell the AI to create what we've asked of it. Okay, with all of that complete, we are going to want to now go ahead and tell it to code our program with all of the things we have discussed. And we are going to tell it to code this, and now we'll begin thinking and begin the coding process. Okay, it has now completed the coding process we have asked it to do. It has added 405 lines to solitaire.py and created the file, since prior it did not exist. It's pretty much just going through everything here it has done. So it's just pretty much saying that it has implemented all of the things we have asked it to do that we previously discussed before down here there in the workspace, and that's the game made. Now, if everything went well and according to plan, we should be able to run this and actually play our solitaire game. All right, so as you can see in here, it has all of the files that it has generated from Brokk in my solitaire directory. So it has solitaire.py, the requirements.txt, the Git files, and the Brokk files in here. So solitaire.py would be the location of all of the code it has generated. Now, if you're not entirely familiar with how Python works, here's what you'll have to do to get this running now. You'll want to open this in a terminal. You're going to do pip install R, because R is for requirements. We're going to want to point it towards that requirements.txt file. It has downloaded Colorama and installed the collected packages. And now we are going to want to do Python and solitaire.py. Point it towards that, and we can run it. And as you can see here, it has generated and opened our solitaire game. Now it tells you the help right up top. It tells you the goal, the command line options for what you can have the draw mode set to. It's set to draw mode 1 by default if you do not specify it on launch. There's undo, help, and quit. It's just giving you examples here of what moves you could possibly be making. There's scoring, plus 10 points for card to foundation, plus 5 points for card from waste to tableau, and plus 5 points for flipping a tableau card face up. The astute among you will probably have noticed that this layout doesn't look entirely correct on our first go round. It looks like the piles are flipped. That's not really so much of a problem, so much as the numbers not being lined up with the pile they belong in, and it appears as if though it is also highlighting face down cards based on their color. Now, this is not functionality we actually like it to do. Only face up cards should be presented with a color. So we're going to go back into Brokk and see if we can get it to fix these issues. And now that I've typed that out, I am going to get Brokk to code a hopeful fix for this issue. Okay, and now that I've asked Brokk to fix the issues that were present in the game, it is telling me that face down cards are being colored in their suit. They should have a distinct neutral color. The tableau displayed is misaligned, making it difficult to read. It interpreted my question quite well. So it looks like it's going to go through here and make a bunch of changes to solitaire.py, try and get this issue fixed. So we're going to go back to our solitaire.py file now and see if it has corrected the previous issue. We're going to want to run it again. And as you can see here, it has perfectly fixed the issue. It has now colored the face down cards as blue. Face up cards are now either white or red, white being the black cards, and red being obviously the red cards. It has also correctly aligned these now, tableau 1 through 7. Below each one, it gives you a number for which key value it belongs to. And it also has the foundation piles, waste up here, and the stock. So this has been a very good example of how Brokk can help you code a simple game like Solitaire from the ground up, and not only that, but when it makes mistakes, you can easily correct them by giving it guidance again as to what the problem was. I hope this has been helpful for demonstrating to you how Brokk could help you in your daily workflow, or even make simple things like this even simpler.